Goeiemôre graad 12 en welkom by vandag se Afrikaans eerste addisionele les. Welcome grade 12, welcome to today's first additional language lesson. Aan die einde van die les gaan jy weet hoe om vraestel 1 afdeling B die opsomming te beantwoord. At the end of the lesson, you are going to know how to answer paper 1, section B, the summary. Hoe om vraestel 1 afdeling A die begrip te benader. How to approach paper 1, section A, the comprehension. Goed, so kom ons kyk vraestel 1 afdeling B. Let's look at the instructions for paper 1, section B. Afdeling B, die opsomming, vraag 2. Lees die onderstaande teks deur en voer die instruksies uit. Read the passage that follows and follow the instructions. Now the instructions to write and summary is extremely important. So kom ons kyk na die instruksies. Som die 7 dinge om jou beter te laat voel in jou eie volsinne op. So you have to summarize the 7 things that make you feel better in your own full sentences. Skryf die dinge puntsgewys neer. You have to write it down in point form. Nommer die dinge van 1 tot 7. Please number your facts 1 to 7 and please leave a line open after each fact. It just makes it so much easier for the marker to then read your summary. Nou jou opsomming mag nie langer as 70 woorde wees nie. Your summary is not allowed to be longer than 70 words. It can be shorter but not longer. As soon as you go over the word total, the marker will count up to 70 words and everything else will be crossed out and not be considered for any marks. En dan, baie belangrik, dui die korrekte getal woorde aan die einde van die opsomming aan. It is important to indicate the correct number of words that you have used at the end of the summary. Okay, so kom ons kyk na hierdie opsomming. Let's have a look at the summary. This summary, as well as the comprehension test that we are doing today, is a May 27 paper from the Department of Basic Education. 7 dinge om jou beter te laat voel. Voel jy soms dat die lewe vir jou te veel is? Daar is heelwat dinge wat 'n mens kan doen om jou beter te laat voel. Now, usually the introductory sentence does not contain a fact. Not always. Sometimes your summary is divided into paragraphs, like they've been done here. Other times it's one big paragraph where you have to find the facts. Just please look at the title. The title will guide you as to what you need to summarize. Dis altyd 'n plesier om na 'n lang tyd weer kontak te maak met 'n familielid of ou vriend. Tel die foon op en bel hulle. Om so bande met mense te herbou, laat jou altyd beter voel. Daar is baie dinge wat 'n mens uitstel, soos om 'n tandartsafspraak te reël of jou klerekas reg te pak. Doen hierdie dinge dadelik, want dit tap jou energie as jy die hele tyd weet daar is nog take wat wag. Die meeste mense hou daarvan om lekker dinge in die lewe te doen. Maak tyd in jou dagboek om weer 'n keer iets lekkers te doen, want dit sal jou laat beter voel. Wanneer jy aan die begin van jou dag iets positiefs gedoen het, motiveer dit jou vir die res van die dag. As jy die eerste uur van die dag met negatiewe dinge besig is die res van jou dag sleg. Studies bewys dat mense wat lief is vir fisiese kontak, meer goedvoelhormone het. Jy sal minder stres ervaar en beter voel as jy vir jou geliefdes drukkies gee. Om oefening in jou daaglikse program in te bou, is maklik. Klim byvoorbeeld die trap in die winkelsentrum of help om die huis skoon te hou. Oefening gee ekstra energie. As 'n mens dinge vir ander mense doen, sonder om iets terug te verwag, sal jy altyd goed oor jouself voel. Nou sê daar is 'n paar belangrike dinge wat jy moet onthou. There's a few important things you need to remember when approaching the summary. Kyk wat gevra word om op te som. That is extremely important. Have a look at what you need to summarize. Gewoonlik is dit duidelik in die titel van die teks. Usually it's very apparent in the title of the text. So here it says, 7 dinge om jou beter te laat voel. 7 things to make you feel better. Lees deur die teks en identifiseer die feite. So read through the text and then identify the facts. Ek het hulle hier gemerk, I did mark them. Tel die foon op en bel hulle. Just have a look. This fact is starting with a verb, so it indicates to us that this is a fact. Doen hierdie dinge dadelik. Once again, my fact starting with a verb. Maak tyd in jou dagboek om weer 'n keer iets lekkers te doen, want dit sal jou laat beter voel. Once again, a verb. You will then see that the next 4 do not start with verbs. Wanneer jy aan die begin van jou dag iets positiefs gedoen het, motiveer dit jou vir die res van die dag. Jy sal minder stres ervaar en beter voel as jy vir jou geliefdes drukkies gee. Oefening gee ekstra energie en as 'n mens dinge vir ander mense doen sonder om iets terug te verwag, sal jy altyd goed oor jouself voel. Okay, so we've identified the facts. I suggest you have a pencil or a highlighter that you can just highlight the facts in the question paper itself. Probeer jou sinne met 'n werkwoord of jy moet begin. Now, when rewriting the facts, please try and start your sentences with the verb or else with jy moet. When I say, moenie net die sinne se woordorde skommel nie, don't go and just muddle the words around, because then the sentence doesn't make sense. Right, your verb still has to be in the right place, your subject has to be in the right place, and dan skryf vol sinne. It's very important to write full sentences. A common mistake that you guys make in answering this question is that you often write jy moet, die foon en hulle bel. Right, so now you've written jy moet, but you've never written down your verb to. Okay, so if you've got an auxiliary verb, you're starting your sentences with jy moet. There has to be a verb to, and be careful not to just write down the infinitive. If we look at this first fact, some of you would write om die foon op te tel, to pick up the phone, but that is not a full sentence. And even though you have a general idea of the fact, you have not written it in a full sentence, and therefore marks will not be awarded. Okay, so kom ons kyk. I've now gone and I've written down the 7 facts in full sentences. So I said, bel jou familie of vriende, doen dadelik dinge wat jy gewoonlik uitstel, maak tyd om iets lekkers te doen, doen iets positiefs aan die begin van die dag, gee jou geliefdes drukkies, oefen, doen dinge vir ander mense sonder om iets terug te verwag. Woordtotaal 44 woorde. You will now see. I did number each of my facts. I left a line open between each one, and every one of my facts starts with a verb. You'll also see a sentence can just contain a verb. So if I say oefen, right, you will get the mark because it is a very short sentence. and I've written down my word total. Right. Hoeveel punte vir die opsomming toegeken? How are marks allocated for the summary? Now, if you've got 6 to 7 facts correct and in your own words, and it isn't a full sentence, you will be awarded 3 language marks. If you've got 4 to 5 facts correct, you will be awarded 2 language marks. If you've got 1 to 3 facts correct, you will be awarded 1 language mark. However, sometimes you guys decide to quote directly from the text, then you will lose your language marks. Okay, so if we have a look, if you quote 1 to 5 facts, so you've taken your text and you've written down the first 5 facts directly as it appears in the text, you will only be awarded 1 language mark. If all 6 or 7 facts have been quoted, no language marks will be awarded. However, you know your ability in terms of language and Afrikaans. So if you are more comfortable with quoting because you don't know how to write it in your own words and you manage to identify the facts correctly, then you will still get 7 out of 10. Okay. If you have written it in your own words but you forgot to write down verb to, or you forgot to write in full sentences, then you might only get 4 out of 10. You know your ability. If you're very fluent in Afrikaans, write them down in your own words. It's also not that difficult to write it in your own words, because by taking out an adjective or changing a jy to a ak, something like that also qualifies as writing it in your own words. Okay, so just keep that in mind when you do the summary. Now, when I did my lessons last week, I said when you start your question paper, paper 1, I urge you, if you struggle with the comprehension, to start with section C, then do section B, and then leave section A, the comprehension, for last. Okay, that you can gain time in those other sections, gain marks from the other sections, and then leave the section that you are most uncomfortable with for last. Just a note, at the end of the year, you will be getting 10 minutes reading time before the paper. Use that time wisely. If you decide that you want to start with section A, die leesbegrip, then you use the time to start reading the comprehension. Because if they then say you can start the exam, you have time to read that comprehension a second time. If you decide to start with section C, use the 10-minute reading time to analyze question 3, the advertisement, and to analyze question 4, the cartoon. And then if you decide to start with section B, use the 10-minute reading time to go through the summary quite thoroughly. Let's look at the instruction. It says here, vraag 1, TV-rubriek, lees die rubriekie onder en beantwoord die vraag wat volg. Okay, so this is an article that urges you to read it. So kom ons kyk, dit sê, uit die rusbank, deur André Pierre du Plessis, en dan het ons 'n prent, en dan het ons Noah gaan nog lank op TV wees, is Trevor Noah dalk die volgende goue seun van New York. Okay, so if pictures included, please take note of the picture. Know who the writer of the article is. In this case, Deur by André Pierre du Plessis. Look at your title, your titel, and look at your subtitle, your subtitle. Now, to get an idea of the comprehension test, I suggest that you read the introduction, then you read the first sentence of each of the following paragraphs. You then read your conclusion in full. You go to your questions, you read through your questions, and then you go back and you read the whole article from the start to the end. By doing this, your mind starts processing what you are reading, but this is just a suggestion. Okay, so I'm going to do it in the way that I've just discussed. However, for today's lesson, because we're limited to time, I'm only doing the first step where I'm reading the introduction, the first sentence of every paragraph, and then the conclusion. And then we are going to look at the questions one by one. Noah gaan nog lank op TV wees. Is Trevor Noah dalk die volgende goue seun van New York? Trevor Noah se gesig het oor die hele New York op taksies en stadsbusse verskyn. Tog was hy eintlik maar nog 'n vreemdeling vir miljoene New Yorkers. Sy gesig het ook die eerste week van Oktober 2015 in elke Amerikaanse koerant en tydskrif verskyn. Jon Stewart het die afgelope 16 jaar die program The Daily Show aangebied. Na net 'n week as aanbieder van die nuwe The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, was dit duidelik dat Trevor nog lank op die Amerikaanse televisie te sien sou wees. Mense het gehoop dat Trevor Noah die formaat van die nuwe program The Daily Show with Trevor Noah sou verander, maar hy het nie. Trevor begin steeds die program deur die dag of die naweek se nuusgebeure op te som. In die tweede deel van die program, net soos toe Stewart die aanbieder was, fokus Trevor op een nuusgebeurtenis. Daarna voer hy 'n onderhoud in die ateljee voor die kameras met 'n bekende persoon. Vir loyale kykers van The Daily Show is dit asof die program maar net 'n nuwe aanbieder gekry het, terwyl dit nog steeds dieselfde volgorde het. Suid-Afrika kry natuurlik 'n gratis advertensie in amper elke episode, omdat Noah dit so geniet om oor apartheid te praat en grappe oor Suid-Afrikaners te maak. Vir die Suid-Afrikaners wat jaarliks New York besoek, is daar nou 'n ekstra doending terwyl hulle daar is. Kaartjies om te sien hoe The Daily Show opgeneem word, is gratis. Onthou net, jy moet baie lank vooruit jou kaartjie bespreek. Now let's have a look at the questions. The biggest hurdle you face when answering these questions is that you still don't know your question words. You will see throughout this section, I've written the question words in red, the English meaning. You will also see that sometimes in some of the papers, they actually put the paragraph in brackets. And that is often the paragraph where you can find the answer. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So kom ons kyk na vraag 1.1. Waar in New York se strate het mense Trevor Noah se gesig gesien? So waar means where. So where in the streets of New York did people see Trevor Noah's face? So hulle het gesien op taksies en stadsbusse. Okay, so that's where they saw it. Watter woord in paragraaf 1 dui aan dat Trevor Noah vir baie mense in New York nie bekend was nie. So watter woord means which word. You are only to write down one word. If you write die vreemdeling, the word die is seen as the first word you have written down, and you will not be awarded any marks in an exam. They are asking for one word and then you only write down one word. So in hierdie geval is dit vreemdeling, that means stranger. 1.3. The new face of the same show. Okay, so this comes from paragraph 2. Now they are asking, waarom is hierdie woorde kursief gedruk? Okay, so waarom means why. The word kursief is cursive or typed in italics. Now anything in an Afrikaans article will be typed in italics to indicate that it is not Afrikaans. In this case, it's been written in English, So your answer is straightforward. Dit is in Engels geskryf. Goed, vir watter mense is Trevor Noah 'n nuwe gesig, new face? For which people? Okay, that's what vir watter mense means. So die mense wat the Daily Show kyk. If you wrote, for example, Amerikaners, you would have also gotten the mark. Okay, so there's not always just one definite answer in the comprehension. Sometimes there are ways of expressing yourself in a different way. Goed, dan sê 1.3.3, skryf die program se naam neer waarna die woorde the same show verwys. So you have to write down the name of the program that the words the same show refer to. The word verwys means refer to. Maybe in today's lesson, if there are words that I've highlighted, you can use it to build your vocabulary. So make a list of them if you're not sure about what they mean in general. Okay, so the answer is The Daily Show. However, if you wrote The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, you would have also gotten the mark. Now they take you to paragraph 2. Goue seun van New York. Word goue in die teks denotatief of konnotatief gebruik? Now, in Friday's lesson, I discussed the words denotative or connotative. So denotative is the definite meaning of the word, the literal meaning. And connotative is the connection you make with something, so that would be the figurative meaning. When they talk about the golden boy of New York, they are talking here about Jon Stewart, but he is not actually gold, right? They are using it in a figurative manner. So your answer will be connotative because it's got a figurative meaning. Then hoekom means the same as waarom. It also means why. Hoekom noem die mense vir Jon Stewart New York se goue seun? Almal het van John as aanbieder gehou. So everyone liked John as a presenter. Goed, 1.5. Kies die korrekte antwoord. Skryf net die vraagnommer en die antwoord neer. Byvoorbeeld 1.5e. Now, I also spoke about this last week. They tell you how they want the answer. So then you only write down the number and the letter. Nothing more is needed. Okay, so die uitdrukking, the word uitdrukking means expression. Die uitdrukking Jon Stewart se groot skoene vol staan in paragraaf 2 beteken dat Trevor Noah Jon Stewart se sukses voortsit. Okay. Dan nommer 1.6. Hoekom het sommige kykers aan die begin verwag dat Trevor Noah iets verkeerd sou doen? Gee 2 redes. So the question is asking, why did some of the viewers at the start expect Trevor Noah to do something wrong? Give 2 reasons. Now, this is for 2 marks. Please do not bullet point your answers, because then the 2 bullet points are marked separately. I have done it in answering the question paper because it is easier to read. If you look at my answer, so you will see I have written, hy was nie vroeër deel van die program nie, hy was 'n vreemdeling vir die Amerikaners. Those are the 2 reasons that would get you the 2 marks. If you have written both of these in the first bullet point, and then in the second bullet point you write something else that is not the answer, you will not be awarded for the first bullet point 2 marks. You will only get 1 mark, and the next one will be marked wrong. So rather just write down your sentences next to one another or join it with the N. Don't bullet point. But so hoe lank het dit Trevor Noah geneem om aan die kykers te bewys dat hy goed in sy werk is? How long did it take Trevor Noah to show the viewers that he's good in his job? But it was 'n week. Okay, it took him a week. But nou 1.8, die inhoud van die program het basies dieselfde gebruik. So the content of the program basically stayed the same. Gee 2 redes. So give 2 reasons. Waarom hierdie stelling waar is, why it's true. Once again, 2 marks. Please do not bullet point like I have done. But daar is steeds 'n opsomming aan die begin van die program. En Trevor gebruik dieselfde soort grappe as John Stewart. Now for this question, there were actually quite a lot of options you could have written down. I just took 2 randomly. However, there often are 6 options. Okay, and you can write down any of those 6 options. Party mense het gedink die grappie was nie snaaks nie. Hulle het op Twitter daaroor gekla. Dit kom uit paragraaf 6. Waarom is dit ironies dat party mense oor die grappie gekla het? Now, you will somewhere in your papers get a question about irony, so it's asking why the specific sentence ironic. A question on irony is usually 2 marks, because you have to state the 2 sides, but you only get 0 or you get your 2 marks. You won't get 1 out of 2. Okay, that is extremely important. So you have to mention both sides. So yeah, I said dit is dieselfde tipe grappies as wat John Stewart gemaak het en niemand het toe daaroor gekla nie. So it's the same type of jokes John Stewart made, but no one complained when he made the jokes. That's why it's ironic that they would make the statement. So please remember to state both sides, not just the one side, because then you're not going to get any marks. Haal 2 opeenvolgende woorde aan, wat aandui dat die joernalis met wie Trevor Noah praat toneel speel. So quote 2 consecutive words, 2 words following one another, not 2 separate words. We often find when marking question 1.10 that you write down 2 separate words. You see 2 woorde, and maybe you don't understand what opeenvolgende means, but opeenvolgende means consecutive, so they are following one another and only 2 words. So 2 words that indicate that the journalist is acting, toneelspel. Let's mark us off. Then my next question. Hoe is Trevor Noah se program anders as John Stewart se program? Now this word who means how. I often find, because it sounds similar to the English question who, you write down a name. Okay, because you listen with your ears. Who means how. If we refer to someone who committed the murder, then we would ask, wie het die moord gepleeg? Please do not be fooled by this specific word. Okay, so how is the program different to John Stewart's program? Want hy praat oor Suid-Afrika. But dan 1.12, Trevor Noah het arm groot geword. He grew up poor. Motiveer hierdie stelling deur na die teks te verwys. Motivate the statement, but you have to refer to the text. Okay, so hulle het nie 'n toilet in hulle huis gehad nie. They did not have a toilet. Now question 1.13. Wat impliseer die skrywer van hierdie artikel met die volgende woorde? What do the words that follow imply? Now when they ask you about the implication of the sentence, the chances are you are not going to get the answer from the text. They want you to tell the marker what you think they meant by writing that down. Okay, so as ons hier lees, Suid-Afrikaanse toerisme het juist al die hulp wat dit kan kry nodig. What does it imply? Okay, it implies that tourism in South Africa is struggling. Okay, so dit gaan finansiëel swaar met die toerismebedryf in Suid-Afrika. Okay, dan verduidelik hoe jy weet dat daar baie mense in die ateljee sit as Trevor Noah se program gemaak word. Explain how you know that there are a lot of people in the studio. Jy moet baie lank voor die tyd jou kaartjies bespreek. Quite in advance, you need to book these tickets. Okay, so from the 30 marks, that is part of this question, section A. 24 of the marks are allocated to the text, where you have to answer the questions based on the text. The following, then you'll see that 6 questions, right, would be based on the graph. I'm just mentioning that. So if we do the last few questions based on the article, hoekom is dit gepas dat 'n TV-rubriek se naam uit die rusbank is? Why is it suitable that this piece is written uit die rusbank? Ja, 'n rusbank is 'n sofa. So mense sit gewoonlik op 'n rusbank as hulle TV kyk. Usually you're on a sofa while watching TV. Hoekom is die subopskrif? Is Trevor Noah dalk die volgende goue seun van New York 'n vraag? Why is the subtitle written in a question format? Die retoriese vraag manipuleer die leser om verder te lees. By making use of the rhetorical question, they are manipulating the reader to continue reading, because you might want to know what the answer is to the question. Vir 1.17, kies die korrekte antwoord tussen hakkies, skryf net die vraagnommer en die antwoord neer. Once again, they're instructing you only to write down the question number and answer. Die foto bo aan die teks sluit die beste by paragraaf 2 aan. So they want to know that the picture or the photo above the text links the best with paragraph 2 or paragraph 9. It is paragraph 2 because paragraph 2 talks about how Trevor Noah's picture appeared in newspapers and magazines. 1.18, hoe weet 'n mens die skrywer hou van Trevor Noah? How do we know that he likes Trevor Noah? Hy skryf 'n positiewe artikel oor Trevor Noah. He writes a positive article about Trevor Noah. Okay, so now for our last 6 marks of the comprehension section, we would usually have a graph. Okay, and it's important to look at the graph and interpret the graph. So hierso sê ons grafieke, reistyd en parkering. So it's about travel time and parking. Bestudeer die grafiekie onder en beantwoord die vraag wat volg. Hoe lank reis jy tussen jou huis en jou werkplek? So how long do you travel between your home and your place of work? Look, which one's the longest? Okay, 30 tot 60 minute. You always look which one is the least amount of time spent, or the least amount of whatever it is. Okay, so minder as 15 minute, 11%. Look at the pictures in your graph. This is supposed to be a watch or Lucy. Then, hoe tevrede is jy met parkeerplek by jou werk? How satisfied are you with your parking at your place of work? And then, utterly unhappy, you have here at the top with 23%. People being utterly satisfied with their parking spaces at work is only 12%. Most people are satisfied. And then once again, look at the picture. There's a motor of a motorcar. That is also important. Okay, nou sê 1.19. Hoekom is die prent van die horlosie gepas by die eerste grafiek? Why does the picture of the watch or the clock, why is it suitable with the first graph on top of the page? Dit sluit aan by die hoeveelheid tyd wat jy spandeer om na jou werk te ry. So that picture of a watch links with the amount of time spent driving to work. Dan sê 1.20, kies die korrekte woord tussen hakkies. Skryf net die vraagnommer en die antwoord neer. Die eerste of boonste grafiek dui aan dat meer mense langer as 'n halfuur reis. Okay, halfuur is 30 minutes, so we saw on that graph that the most people travel between 30 and 60 minutes to work. En dan nommer 1.21, hoekom is dit goed om inligting in grafiekformaat aan te bied? Why is it good to present information in a graph format? Now this is a standard answer. Okay, you can always use it when they ask question similar to this when it comes to a graph-related thing. Why is it good to present information in a graph format? Goed, dit is maklik om te lees en te verstaan. It is easy to read a graph like that and it is easy to understand. Okay, so that you can always use as a standard answer to a question about information being presented in a graph format. Goed dan, hoekom dink jy is die prentjie van die motor gepas by die tweede grafiek? Why do you think the picture of the car is suitable for the second graph? But die motor pas by die idee van 'n parkeerplek. Okay, so the car goes with the whole idea of safe parking space for people's cars at their place of work. Dan vra hulle, watter persentasie mense is baie ontevrede met hul parkeerplek by die werk? So what percentage of people are very unsatisfied with their parking place at work? Dit is 23%. Remember the percentage sign. Waarom dink jy is dit belangrik dat mense met hul parkeerplek by die werk tevrede moet wees? Why is it important to be happy with your parking place at work? This is your own answer. Mense sal beter werk as hulle weet hulle motors is veilig. People will work better if they know that their cars are parked in a safe place. Okay, so kom ons kyk. Ek sê onthou, begin die sinne van 'n opsomming met 'n werkwoord of jy moet. Please remember to start the sentences of a summary with the verb or jy moet. En dan onthou om genoeg tyd aan afdeling A te spandeer. Please remember to make sure that you do spend enough time on section A. We have now completed one question paper and we've worked through the approach of paper 1. In later lessons I am going to do some more language related questions coming from past papers, but for now we are finished with the approach on how to answer paper 1. Ek sê hierso kom kuier gerus weer saam met my. Please come again tomorrow. In tomorrow's lesson and for the rest of the week I am going to pay attention to some of the prescribed poems. The poetry is very important. You can gain a lot of marks in that section as well. In die volgende les gaan ons die gedig rondom my ontleed, asook vrae uit ou vraestelle bespreek. So in the following lesson, we are going to look at the poem rondom my, and we are going to discuss questions from past papers. I hope you guys have found the lesson valuable today, and I really do hope you'll join me again tomorrow. I can't wait for our lesson tomorrow morning. Keep well, guys. Keep warm. Keep safe and healthy. Then I see you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Bye, guys.